The image clip plugin found within the built-ins within the container plugins and the texture folder allows us to play a target animation. And the way that it works is we need to drag it on some type of primitive. We're going to use a rectangle in this case. So I'm going to drag a rectangle into the scene tree. I'm going to come back into my built-ins, into the container plugins. Within the texture folder, we have this image clip. So let's drag that right onto our rectangle. Then click on the image clip to go into the properties editor. First thing that we have here is the image, and it's giving us an option to browse. So we need to go find a targa sequence that we have rendered out. So if you navigate to your folder where you have your sequence, and here you can see is that we have the entire targa sequence within our folder here, and all we need to do is click on the first target image here and click open, and that's automatically going to start the process here within Vizrt. One thing that you do notice is that it does put the image on here, but because we had a square rectangle and our image is not square, it looks out of proportion. So all we need to do is just kind of spread the width of this rectangle out a little bit to match more closely to the proportions of the image. Now, if you needed to check exactly what they were, you could go back and check. For this purpose, those adjustments are close enough. If we want to scale this up, we can scale it up here in the transformation axis editor. Again, we go into the image clip. It loaded our target sequence, and underneath that we have a play mode. So it's set to animation by default, and what I'm going to do below that is you have your animation position. This is what we need to keyframe. So I'm going to rewind my timeline here. I have my animation position at 0. I'm going to set keyframe. I'm going to advance this animation position up to the last sequence or last image, which looks like around 300 or so. I'm going to hit set key, and it creates an animation. So if we come in here and we hit play, you can see that our sequence goes here. Now, if you needed to slow it down, we could click on the animation, go into the stage, speed this up or slow it down however you need it. So there's also a play mode. So we can change this play mode to once. And once you change it to once, you also have a reverse option and a play speed now. And these buttons down here become active, so we can now trigger this animation through the play button down here, and you can see we have the reverse on, so it's also playing this in reverse. We can also change this to loop, where we'll turn the reverse off. So now every time this reaches the end of the image clip, it's going to continuously loop. There's also a swing here so that it's going to reach the end of this target sequence and then play backwards again at the end and swing back and forth. So we have this image target sequence mapped to our rectangle, and again you can come in and rotate this rectangle or reposition, scale it however size you need it. Not the most ideal way to play video within Vizrt using this image clip, but it's one way that you can create backgrounds and or include video within your scenes. Now, if you make the video or the target sequence small enough, it should have no problem playing it.